So I just got this in the mail. Let's go ahead and unbox the M4 iPad Pro 11-inch. Now I personally had the M1 iPad Pro, so I'm really interested to see what the differences are going to be. Now the two biggest standout features of the new iPad Pro is definitely going to be the Tandem OLED and also the M4 processor. Now there are some controversies with the M4 chip, specifically for the iPad Pro. And you'll notice in the box here that they list the M4, however, they don't list how many cores you're actually getting in the back of this packaging, because models with 1 terabyte or the 2 terabyte is going to have the 10 core, and anything below that, the 256 or the 512, will get just the 9 core. So that's going to be very unfortunate. I had to basically jump up to 1 terabyte just to get the better chip. So I'm not 100% happy about that, but let's go ahead and unbox it anyway. So we have these two little strips here. Make it very easy to open up. Now I also picked this up in the cellular version as well. All right, here we have it. All right, guys, there we have it. The new black color on this. It looks really nice. Definitely looks a lot better than the space gray, as you can see right over here. This is going to be the space gray, and this is the new black color. So I like the black color. It's going to look a lot brighter because of the lights here, but in darker surfaces, it's going to look very, very sleek. Now, another standout feature here is going to be the thinness of this iPad. I mean, it is very, very thin. And again, I'm just going to hold up. And again, I'm just going to hold up my M1 iPad Pro, and you can definitely see the size differences between the two here. Other than that, it's very similar in terms of how it feels. You notice on the bottom over here, we have the smart connector here, standard Apple logo, and the camera system is going to be revamped as well. We only see one camera over here versus the two on the M1 iPad Pro. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are not going to mind. I mean, I've never really used the camera on the iPad Pro, very rarely, so I don't really mind that at all. And here is the actual display here. It's going to look very similar to all the other iPads. It's going to be very glossy. There's also a nano texture option as well. If you go for the 1 terabyte or the 2 terabyte, you have the option. So looking at the top here, we have the hole cutouts for the quad speakers. We have 2 speakers over here. We have a nice power button over here. And then on the right side, we have the volume rocker here. And then we have the magnet over here for the Apple Pencil. And overall, it's really nice and sleek. Looking at the bottom here, we have the other 2 speakers. We also have our USB Type-C port, which is really nice. And overall, I'm loving the design of this. Now, before we jump into the iPad, let's go ahead and see what else we get in the box. All right, good news is that we're gonna get a USB-C power adapter. This one's rated at only 20 watts, so it's definitely underpowered. So I probably would recommend getting a better one. And then we have the USB-C to C cable, and I'm really happy that they gave us a black braided cable. I think this looks really nice. Now here we have some tip booklet here for the iPad Pro. And that's pretty much it here. I don't see any type of stickers here, so if you're looking for some cool looking Apple stickers, then you're not gonna see that at all. Love the black USB-C cable. Not too thrilled about the 20-watt USB-C, but at least we have it there. All right, so let's go ahead and power on the iPad Pro, holding the power button. All right, so while that's powered on, another feature of this new iPad Pro is going to be the front-facing camera. It's going to be on the landscape versus the portraits. And I'm going to quickly grab my iPad Pro over here. The camera was before located on top, and now it's on the landscape, which probably makes it more natural to have it this way, because anytime you use any type of accessory docks, your iPad is always going to be in the landscape anyway. So I think they made a great choice with that. Let's go ahead and set up this iPad real quick. First thing you want to do is obviously select your language, your region. And here we have options for appearances. You can basically make the icons a lot larger or even tinier, but I'm just going to leave it at the defaults. Here we have a quick start here. Now, if you have other Apple devices, then it'll automatically pair with that device and basically sync through all of your iCloud settings. That's what makes the Apple ecosystem so great. So for example, if I were to activate my iPad over here, you'll notice over here it automatically says set up new iPad, so that I can immediately transfer all of my settings of my iPad to the new M4 iPad. But I'm gonna go ahead and skip that. I'm just gonna set this up as a brand new device. Next thing you want to do is choose your Wi-Fi network. All right, so if you have this under cellular, it should automatically activate your cellular data plan if you have one. I have it through AT&T, and this will support 5G services. So this is definitely gonna come clutch whenever I take this on the go. All right, so once that's set up, I'm gonna hit continue. And next thing, we're gonna be prompted for a software update. So we can choose to update this now or we can update this later. I'm gonna do later. Here we have data and privacy. I'm gonna hit continue. And next thing, you have the option of setting up this iPad for yourself or for your child in your family. But anyway, we're gonna hit set up for myself. Next, we have Face ID, which by hitting continue, you can basically use your face to unlock the iPad. I'm gonna set this up later. And here we can also create an iPad passcode, but we're going to skip this. I'm gonna hit don't use. And next thing, you are prompted to transfer your apps and data. If you want to quickly transfer it from your iCloud backup, from another iPad, you can do it from a Mac or PC, even from an Android device. But since I want this as a brand new iPad, I'm just going to skip this and hit don't transfer. Here you would type in your Apple ID so that you can download all of the apps and iCloud services, use iMessages and all that cool stuff. We're going to skip this as well. And over here is going to ask if you want your iPad to update automatically. I personally like this feature a lot because it makes it easier. Then we have location services. I enable this because I like to use those type of services. Then we have Hey Siri. I personally I'm not a fan of using Siri, so I'm just going to skip that. Next, we can set up screen time. Again, I'm going to set it up later. You can choose to share your iPad analytics or not. I'm going to hit don't share. And next, you're prompted with 3 different options here. You can set your iPad for light. You can set it for dark, which basically darkens everything, or you can leave it at automatic, which would keep it light during the day and dark during night. I personally like the auto feature, so I can get accustomed to both. So after that, we're pretty much all set up. All right, so my first impressions of this iPad M4 is definitely the brightness of the screen. I mean, this being an OLED, it is very, very bright. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that they're using 2 OLED panels mashed together, which is incredible. Now, to quickly compare it with my M1 iPad, opening up the Safari browser over here, I want to make sure I max out the brightness on both of these. I can immediately tell that the M4 has way better blacks. As you can see here, that's a benefit of OLED. You see perfect blacks. And I want to say the display is really bright as well. I want to say it's brighter than my M1 iPad, but it's really hard to tell. But I'm really satisfied with the quality of this display. You can kind of get closer here a little bit. Maybe the temperatures might be a little bit different. We'll have to check on the settings here, but I can definitely make out a humongous difference in display quality. So you're definitely going to see a nice jump in display quality here. All right, so my only complaint here with how they launched this M4 iPad is definitely the choices of the chip here. So for somebody like me, I don't need anything more than the least amount of storage. For me, that was 128 on the M1. The fact that they have 256 is great, but the biggest issue with that though is that if I chose the lowest or the 512, I'm stuck at the 9-core CPU, and the models with the higher storage gets you the 10-core CPU. Now normally, it might not have been a big issue, but you'll notice over here that 3 performance cores versus 4 performance cores is definitely going to be a noticeable difference in performance. Had these both been 4 performance cores and only a difference of 1 efficiency core, then there might not have been such a huge gap. But I think the additional performance core makes the models with the 1 terabyte or 2 terabyte significantly better. Coupled with the fact that you're getting double the RAM, 16 gigabytes versus 8. And again, with my M1, it was the same case. I had to go for the 1 terabyte if I wanted double, but I was perfectly fine with it because I don't think the memory is going to be so much of a huge problem, especially for an iPad OS. So that wasn't much of a deal breaker, but this is definitely a humongous difference. I mean, it's a pro for those that spend a lot of money on the 1 terabyte, but it kind of sucks that I don't have the option to choose the better CPU if I wanted it, and I automatically have to jump for the 1 terabyte, which is almost double the price of the base 256 gigabytes. So that's something that you definitely have to consider when you're shopping for it. In my opinion, it's going to fully depend on what you're planning to do with this iPad. For this, I'm going to use very heavy intensive applications. I'm going to see if it's even possible to really utilize applications like DaVinci to really edit my videos on the go. And I think the additional 10 core could potentially be a humongous benefit. But for most users, I think just getting the regular iPad would probably be the best option, with the major differences to decide on is whether you want just the Wi-Fi or if you want to have cellular capability. For me, having cellular will come in clutch in a lot of areas where there might not be Wi-Fi, or if I don't want to connect to a public Wi-Fi because maybe sometimes you might feel like it's sketchy, maybe it's not fast enough, then you have that reliable connection. So that's the reason why I went for the cellular version as well. But overall, I think this iPad is a huge step up. When the M2 initially came out, there wasn't much of a huge jump in terms of what I was getting. Just getting the M2 just didn't seem like it made a lot of sense. But going from the M1 to the M4, I think is going to be a notable difference, not just with performance, but also the fact that you're getting a new color, you're getting a way thinner display, and you're getting this new beautiful Tandem OLED, which I absolutely love so far. And as you guys have seen my channel, I've been doing a lot of OLED monitors, and OLED technology is one of my favorites and basically matches the same type of quality as your iPhone as well. So I will be dropping a review video soon, so stay tuned for that. Make sure you guys are subscribed. We'll have affiliate links down below which help and support the Firewolf Tech channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, guys. Firewolf out.